Every single move you make, right? From clicking on this explainer to, I don't know, running a marathon. It's all the result of a silent split-second decision in your brain. Today, we're going to dive deep into that control room to meet the gatekeeper that makes it all possible, the basal ganglia.
I mean, really think about that for a second. Right now, you could stand up, stretch, scratch your nose, check your phone, a million things. But you're not. You're here, watching this. So how on earth does your brain select that one specific action and just suppress all the other possibilities?
Well, the answer lies in this hidden control room. The basal ganglia are, basically, your brain's ultimate bouncer. They don't start the party, they don't initiate movement on their own, but they give the green light to the one action you intend to do while putting up a big red light for all the other competing movements you don't want to make.
So if the basal ganglia is our control room, who's actually on the team? Let's meet the key players. Now, the names might sound a little complex, but I promise their jobs are actually pretty straightforward.
Okay, so if we look at the brain from the side here, you can see this big C-shaped structure that kind of dominates the view. That's the caudate nucleus. You can see its head, its body, and this long curving tail. And tucked right inside that curve are the other components we're about to meet. This view just really helps you get the lay of the land.
All right, now let's slice it differently. This is a horizontal cut, like we're looking down from above. And this perspective is fantastic because it really shows how all the parts relate to each other. You can see how the caudate nucleus and another part, the putamen, are separated by this thick band of nerve fibers called the internal capsule. It's actually this view that reveals the striped look that gives the whole thing the name corpus striatum, which literally just means striped body. Neuroanatomists, they love to group things together. So let's just quickly decode the lingo. When you hear striatum, we're really just talking about the caudate nucleus and the putamen working as a team. Just think of the striatum as the main inbox, the input hub where all the signals from the cortex arrive first. Then you've got other key players, like the subthalamic nucleus and the substantia nigra, which are absolutely crucial for the circuits we're about to jump into.
So how does this gatekeeper actually work its magic? Well, it all comes down to this beautifully balanced system of go signals and no-go signals. They operate through two totally distinct circuits. You can think of it like a gas pedal and a brake for every single move you make. First up, let's hit the gas. This is the go pathway. It all starts when the cortex sends an I want to move signal. This signal activates the striatum, and its job is to inhibit, or put the brakes on, the globus pallidus. Now here's the kicker. The globus pallidus's default job is to constantly put the brakes on the thalamus. So when the striatum breaks the globus pallidus, it's like taking a foot off a brake pedal that was already being pressed. The thalamus is set free. They call this disinhibition. And now it can send a powerful go signal back to the cortex to execute the movement. Okay, now for the brake pedal, the no-go pathway. This one's a little more roundabout. It's got a few more steps. It also starts with a signal from the cortex, but this time it kicks off a chain reaction that actually strengthens the brake on the thalamus. It uses a helper, the subthalamic nucleus, which basically yells at the globus pallidus to press that brake pedal even harder. And with the thalamus totally shut down, it can't excite the cortex. That competing unwanted movement is stopped dead in its tracks.
So, let's just boil it down. The direct go pathway helps you move by essentially removing a brake. The indirect no-go pathway stops you from moving by slamming that same brake on even harder. Your brain is constantly, every millisecond, balancing the activity in these two pathways to select one single fluid action. It's amazing. But this whole system of braking and accelerating, it isn't just electrical signals flying around. It's all driven by a very precise chemical conversation. So let's take a look at the key chemical messengers, the neurotransmitters, that make the whole thing go. We can really simplify it down to three main players. You've got glutamate. That's your main excitatory signal. It's always saying, go, go, go. Then there's GABA. GABA is the main inhibitory signal. It's the one saying, stop, hold on. And then you've got dopamine. Dopamine is the master modulator, the manager that doesn't just say go or stop, but actually fine-tunes the entire balance between the two.
And what's so fascinating about dopamine is its dual role. It kind of plays for both teams. It simultaneously boosts the go pathway and dampens the no-go pathway. So think about that. It's like pressing the gas and easing off the brake at the exact same time. This makes it so much easier for that one action you want to do to win out over all the others.
Now, this delicate chemical balance it's so crucial, because when it breaks down, the consequences can be profound.
And this brings us to what happens in certain movement disorders.
Remember our master modulator, dopamine? Well, most of it is produced in this tiny little area of the midbrain you see here called the substantia nigra. And fun fact, that literally means black substance because of the dark pigment in its cells. This right here is the dopamine factory for the basal ganglia.
Now in Parkinson's disease, for reasons we're still trying to fully figure out, these specific dopamine-producing neurons in the substantia nigra, they begin to die off. The factory essentially starts to shut down.
So what happens when you lose the one chemical that boosts go and dampens no-go? The whole balance is thrown completely out of whack. The go pathway becomes weak and underactive, while the no-go pathway becomes way too overactive. The end result is that the brake is pretty much always on, making it incredibly difficult to initiate and perform smooth voluntary movements.
So every single moment of your life, whether you're playing piano or just deciding to stand perfectly still, this incredibly intricate gatekeeping system is firing away, selecting one action and suppressing all the others. Now that you know it's there, what subtle decisions are you going to notice it making for you next?